live DVD is basically a DVD or an image of a DVD that you can use. Okay, let's say I have a real DVD. Okay, so a live DVD means that if you put the DVD into your CD tray and you reboot your system to reboot from the DVD, it will load the entire operating system from the DVD along with the application programs that are installed on the DVD itself.
Okay.
Which is basically what this is.
I get you.
Except I don't use a DVD, I use a little SD card to do the same thing.
Okay.
Because a DVD can scratch and it only works for so many weeks as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Whereas an SD card, I can rewrite it. There's no waste. I don't have to toss something away every time I make a new image.
Okay.
It can be very useful. Okay, so the first thing is I want to demonstrate, LMMS, because this class is about exposing you guys to, what you can do with a computer, and this is a pretty good demonstration. So I'm not sure whether this is the right settings, so we'll go ahead and give it a try, see if the speaker plays anything.
Hi guys, this is a video on a piece of free software called Linux Multimedia Studio, or LMMS for short. Now this is a free alternative to Fruity Loops, which is a music production tool. This is basically a program that can allow you to make tunes for free. This is great. Now I don't have any expert experience with both Fruity Loops or LMMS, but I do have a very basic knowledge, enough to show you how to make a basic song, and it will all be good. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the program. So when you first start the program, you may find the interface looks a little bit confusing. There's a lot of things that are happening inside the program. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the most important things inside the interface, or the things that I've used to create the song, and then you can do this for yourself. So at the top you can see we've got a bunch of the classic new, open, save icons. I'm going to ignore all of these for the time being. Now this here is the tempo, so you can see it's set at 130. By default I think it's set at 140. And you can just drag up and down if you need to, depending on how fast or how slow you want the song. For the time being I'm having 130. I'm going to ignore this for the time being, and you can see we've got a master volume slider, so you can drag it up if you want it to be louder or quieter. We also have a master pitch, so if you want it to be lower or higher, this will apply to your entire song, lower or higher, go ahead and adjust the master pitch. Now underneath we have the song editor. We also have a beat and bassline editor, and we also have an FX mixer. Now I'm not going to talk about the FX mixer because that's more for things that are happening in real time, such as DJing or adding specific effects on the fly. So we're not going to worry about that, we're just going to create a basic tune inside LMMS. So here we are inside the song editor. Now all the icons on the top that you need to know are the play button, the stop button, and the select button. Now this will select things that are in the workspace, which I'll talk about in just a second. The play button will play the song, and the stop button will stop the song from playing. Now on the left hand side you'll notice we have this icon here. You just simply click that and you can clone a specific track. Now these are all known as tracks. Very similar to something like Photoshop, where you have a bunch of different layers to an image. So you have a background image, you have a foreground image. They can all be modified individually, but they all make up an image on its own. So this is all the components that are making up the song. I hope that makes sense. You can see we've got these green lights here and some are black. Now this is basically, this column here is for muting certain tracks. Now the only tracks you need to worry about at the moment are the default preset and the beat and bass line. So these are actually both muted. If this was green, then they'd actually play. Now just next to this you can see it says solo. So if you need to actually modify just one track and you don't want to listen to the rest of the song, you just press that button and it will basically play just this track. Okay, so we also have volume settings here, which you can turn up for each individual track, and also pan settings. Note that beat and bassline doesn't have this. That's because everything inside this beat and bassline is in the beat and bassline editor, which we'll talk about in just a second. So, back into the song editor. This is the workspace. Notice that we have these icons here. That means it's actually going to loop the track in between those markers. You can place the markers with this icon here. So, this is where all my song is going to play. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the song, and you'll notice that nothing's actually coming out, you're not hearing anything. However, you can see a little light flashing. That is when basically the instrument inside the track is playing. So it's playing audio now, however, because I've pressed that mute button, you can't hear anything. So notice these also has little dots here. Now this has actually been made by me inside something called the piano roll, which I'll go into just a second. So it's actually running through all the notes that I've played, or I've set it to play in the piano roll. So let's go ahead and open up the piano roll. I'm going to double click, and you can see this looks like a massive grid. It doesn't look very useful to anyone. Well, to explain it basically, on the left hand side you have the keyboard. Now if you actually press a button here, or press one of these keys, it will play through the speakers. But again, because I've muted it, it won't play. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to unmute it so you guys can hear. So I'm just going to stop the song from playing so you don't hear the song. However, I'm just going to tick that so it's now unmuted and it's ready to play. Notice that this changed colour. So I'm actually going to put my headphone to the speaker. I have to do this because I don't have stereo mix on Windows 7. It's not working. I've got an external sound card. So I'm just going to put the headphones up to the speaker. So when I click the C here, which is the note C, it plays. You can see it just click up. Now this isn't the only way you can play a note inside the piano roll. You can actually use your keyboard. So if I press Q, it plays the same note. W, E. So you can start making tunes, you know. So you can start making chords as well. So you can play, you can press more than one key. So basically your keyboard turns into a keyboard. So this is all along the left hand side. Notice underneath it says about note volume. You can change these individual notes that you've placed on the grid with this. You can drag it up and down if you need specific ones to be louder. Now this is basically imagining that the song is playing through this way. So it was going through the songs. Imagine it playing through this way. So it's actually going to play it a little bit faster, and it's going to go through the notes that I've put on here. So at the third step inside the first beat, or the bit, you know what I mean, it will play this key. So if I just go ahead and press the play button here, you can see it's actually playing up here. This is where you saw the flashing. This is all the notes that I'm playing. It's very, very simple. So I'm just going to stop that for the time being. So that is all done inside the piano roll. You can just click anywhere and it will basically play the song. You can right click and it will get rid of that.
Okay, I think most of you are now thinking, well, that's a lot of trouble to go through to play, you know, a few keys. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of move to another demonstration. And let's see, you know, what song demonstration. When you install LMMS in Linux, it comes with a whole bunch of demonstrations already, and this one doesn't seem very professionally done. So we'll go ahead and try another one. Okay, this one seems a lot better. That's the icon of. So basically, you can see all the different tracks. You know, each track can control multiple instruments, and you can. Some of these are sampled sounds. In other words, you know, someone actually took a microphone to a drum or some other musical instrument and actually recorded the sound from the instrument. Some of these are synthesized, which means, you know, they use the good old, you know, analog synthesizer technique to put, you know, an oscillator together and you combine oscillators. Now this one is kind of, you know, monotonic, you know, it's just a lot of beat. So we can go take a look at one more, and then we'll kind of go back to how to make popcorn in LMMS. Just going to look through. Okay, I think this one could be. So according to the title, this is an original. It's a remix of Try Journey. So this is a fairly short track, and that's the end of my little LMMS demonstration. Some of you may not like the techno dance beat, but you can imagine you don't have to make techno dance beat using LMMS. It has organs, it has either synthesized or sampled organ sounds. So if you want to, you can actually put you can put Christmas music through LMMS, and tune it any way you want to. I mean, you can use classical, quote unquote, classical instruments like violins and flutes and whatnot, for the holidays, or you can add a certain beat to classical Christmas music, which kind of adds a certain spin to it. Yep.
A lot of the Christmas music you can just find the MIDI files of, like it's just general files.
Yep.
And they'll download it into
Yep, you can import it into this. This can hook up to actual MIDI equipment. So if you have like a MIDI drum and a MIDI keyboard, this software can talk to those particular input interfaces. So you can. Yep, go ahead.
Do you know if it can record straight audio, or can you only sample things in?
You mean like mix in something live?
I mean, like just set up one of those tracks to do just straight audio, like
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just couldn't tell because almost all of it was MIDI, so I couldn't tell if there was.
I think you can set up like just a voice input. If you cannot do it here, you can do it in Audacity. Because Audacity, is basically just a big mixer, but without the synthesizer and also the beat. This one can also do it can also autoplay. It can basically specify the octave range. You can specify the arpeggios, and then it can play it either by rolling up all the time, rolling up and down, rolling always down, and you can actually control what keys it will play when you play the quote unquote arpeggios. So it is not only just for recording or for pre-arranged music. You can actually jam live with this software running on the laptop computer and a keyboard interface. And also for people who just want to learn how to play music, this is not a bad way to play it, but a bad way to learn, because it displays the time also. So for people who want to learn, just the basics, like what is a whole note, what is the length of a whole note, half note, quarter note, and so on and so forth. This is a really good way to visualize the time of the note, and see how it plays out. And you can change the time interval just by dragging, the bars, and it's a great way to expose, anyone to music in general, and it is free. Okay, I think you cannot beat the part that it is free. You don't even need a musical keyboard to play it. I mean, you can just use the graphical user interface to input